as ye think. You don't even think about it. The Son of Man will come. It's not time to be getting ready. It is time for us to be ready to meet our Lord and Savior. We'll just have a few minutes, maybe about 5 minutes before we transition to the conference. I just want to hand over to Elder Granison Pastor so you can ask your questions.
I thought you were going to invite questions, Ellen. You go ahead and lead, take the shine off the ball. We'll be here to support you. But
chime in here too.
I just want to use the opportunity to say welcome to our visitors. I know I have at least 2 of my visitors that are there in the persons of Osborne and Johnson. And you're not the only persons, but I can't recognize the others. Along with the members, you can ask your questions at this time. Any question relating to the topic primarily, but if you have another one that you think is burning, you can ask. All right, so that's where we are. Thank you very much. It's a wonderful presentation, as usual, Elder Nelson, and it's very pertinent as we are in this lockdown. So I really enjoyed the entire thing, and especially the way you started with that Noah story.
Yes.
I'm not sure if everybody have everything.
And then the twist.
Yes.
It was deliberate.
Have everything, but it's no time to ask those questions so we can share together. It's a short time we have. All right. So the floor is open. But I particularly enjoy the illustration between the children, or rather the Diluvian world. That's in the time of Noah, and the ark, as is clear, representing the church, the only place of safety, and all the other things you mentioned. So any question?
All right, Pastor. Yeah, so correct.
Yes. Okay, Pastor. Just to reference, as you Elder Nelson said, it is a distraction between to entertain the vaccine, and I can say that I have a clip that showed that Sister White took the vaccine when there was smallpox. So let us not let this vaccine be a distraction to us, because this is what the devil is trying to do. Take our mind, because in the first he realized that we counteract him in his defeat of locking down the church. We create, God give us vision that we create a way of worship. Now he's trying to take our mind away from the worship now, that using the vaccine to distract us.
That's true.
From losing our focus on what our goal is.
Right, that's true. Very, very effective. And we must remember that a part of the enemy's ploy is to use deception. And this distraction is a part of that. We say at this point that we're not saying that as a church, it is irreligious not to take the vaccine. We still believe that individuals must think about it for themselves. And if they decide they won't, that will not make them any less a Christian. And if they decide they will, that will not make them any more a Christian. So the decision is for the individual to take. All right, but we don't want to use this to say that it's the mark of the beast or anything religious. We don't see that at this time. Any other question or comment? We invite you to open your microphone and go right ahead.
Okay. Happy Saturday.
Happy Sabbath.
Yes. So my question though is that even though the church might say it is an individual decision, what I tend to realize that whatever decision we as Christians make, when we say it is personal and we don't really keep it to ourselves, it is really affecting the church on a whole. So what do we do now, leaders of the church? What position, what stance should the leaders really take? And let me give you an example of what I'm talking about. For example, say for instance, we know we're currently in a lockdown, but when the church was open, say a few weeks ago, even though we have our numbers and so yes, we're adhering to the protocols, but what do we do when we have some members who decide that yes, They're coming to church and they're not going to wear a mask. And remember, the government says we should wear masks. How do we, as leaders, how does the leadership of the church go about this?
All right, I might need some help on this one from my elders. But one of the things that we have to, when you're dealing with a crisis, you have to know what steps to take. When we come together, for example, now we know how the spread of we have an idea how the disease is spread. So we know that when we come in close proximity, that's a high possibility of it being spread rapidly. So that's why the whole idea of the mask wearing was implemented. And we, as a nation, had that in effect for our gathering. And the government asked us to do so. The church decided that we will cooperate with that. So as a church, we did implement that. And we would expect all the members to go with it. On the contrary, though, as it relates to the vaccination, listen to this now. We say the individual has to decide. Now, for example, when we spoke about talking to your doctor, if an individual talks to his or her doctor and their underlying condition might say that they're at a higher risk for the side effects to affect them, they might decide not to take it. The church couldn't say that you have to take it despite that. So that's why those are some of the reasons we have to leave it up to the individual. In addition to that, when there's a vaccine out, not everybody will end up taking the vaccine. I believe, and I can be corrected if I'm wrong, I have people qualified to do so, that what we'd like to do is to reach the herd immunity, which would require about 80% of the population to be vaccinated. I think that's the whole idea. So everybody will not end up getting it, but a certain level, so some persons who do not want it might not be a major threat, so to speak. They will be in that 20% who didn't decide to take it. And that would be okay according to the national, the international standards, right? So the church cannot impose it. And if some persons decide not to at this stage, then it will not be a problem. All right, any other comment on that?
Pastor, read the first part of her question. I haven't been to church since COVID. I haven't been out. But I was told the government set policies or rules and regulation. And I believe as Christians, we should follow the rules and regulation because some members, as she said, they refuse to wear their mask. And some members, you're proving God. We don't prove God like that. It's like there's a big truck coming on the road and you said, well, I'm going to run into this truck because I know God is going to protect you. Or you want a job and you say, well, I want a job, but you don't send out any application and you don't go and to inquire to get a job. How is it you're going to get a job? And I believe if it happens that you have to go back to church, I think our church needs to be more vigilant or strict, maybe for want of a better word. Because many churches, they have church, but they register. And when they reach the cutoff point, that's it. Our church don't do that. And everybody come with this and everybody want to do what they think they want to do. No, it's not what they want to do. It's what the government say and what the church is going by. So I think our church need to have a little bit more teeth. And when the people come in, let's ask them, you cannot enter. It doesn't matter who. Even in leadership, you have people coming. No, that can't be right. What kind of example is that you're setting? As a church, we are to do the right thing. As Christians, it's not something that is going up against our Christian belief. So if we want to contain this thing, as a church, we need to cooperate. And I don't believe then the church was cooperating. Because I remember one Sabbath, my husband decided
thanks, sister. I think the point is
a
very
long
clear.
time, but I want to put in my husband part.
You have made it clear, sister.
He had to come back. Because when he came to church, the amount of people
you have made it clear. The point is
it was more than what's asked for. So both the pastor and the elders have to be more firm in what they are doing. That's my point.
Thank you. So you're saying that the church, and I don't know how it had slipped me to emphasize that more in the first part of the question which was asked, that the church leadership has a responsibility to make clear what the required standards are. So the church would be in dialogue with the government. And of course, the church is not just about cooperating with what the government says, because it's a government, but the church would also have to analyze and to see that it fits with what the standards of the church are, meaning that it doesn't have any religious implication, all right? Because if the government is implementing something that goes against what the church teaches from the Bible, then we would not cooperate. But based on what has happened so far, all that the government has implemented, we believe as a church would be in our benefit. And so we should cooperate as much as is possible. We don't know if we're going to go back to that again, but as was made clear, we need to be very vigilant about it, and we need to implement it strictly. So that's the whole idea.
Well, Pastor, if we go back, I hope the pastor and the leaders will do much better, because I don't think they did very well the last time. If you ask me to give a